Gambit versus Lemondogs.
So here we go then. Let's see how much of a toll this long day for Lemondogs has really had on them, you know. 4 games, you've already mentioned that, more than any other team here today. It may have just spurred them on, you know, getting gradually better as things have gone along.
Well, I'm really happy you pointed that out, because out of the games that they've won, they've defeated Ninjas in Pajamas, ex-Copenhagen Wolves, they've defeated Evil Geniuses, the old LCS teams, the new LCS teams. Oh, we'll get back to that in a second. Dexter's been caught out.
Yeah, he acted really well dodging the grasping route there, and he probably would have been dead if that route would have landed and they were able to push in onto him. So nice little bit of work. Risky stuff from Dexter coming out earlier on. Not sure if it was 100% concentrated when that actually went down, but it's been
a long day.
A bit of a crazy start.
But he manages to get away safely, and good presence of mind to realize the Stranglethorns had been casted, so he knew the direction it was coming at. You can tell by the direction Zyra is facing when she begins that cast, and he just sidestepped it once and carried on running. And as I was saying, Ninjas in Pajamas and of course Evil Geniuses have been beaten by Lemondogs. The only teams that have beaten Lemondogs so far is Ultimate and MYM, who are currently 1-1 in the ladder.
The new teams have not lost to the teams that remained from the spring split. Not once throughout today.
Yep.
And yesterday.
That's exactly the story of it. The new teams are climbing the ladder, and right now we're going to see whether or not Lemondogs can continue the trend, or whether or not the Russian overlords will be bucking them out this time.
Well, they've certainly had a tough time of things with Gambit, obviously bringing Darker in as the new support to replace Edward, who's gone stateside for Curse. To varying degrees of success as well, we should probably admit that one, but as is such, both of those teams then become new lineups, and that's why those shaky starts can happen. But this is a fresh game here, and we'll see what Darker brings to the table with the Zyra that he's chosen for this game.
I very much liked his Zyra when Gambit were playing against SK Gaming earlier in the day. He was able to really turn the tide of some of those team fights, and a number of Stranglethorns were extremely, extremely important. He survived a 3v1 tower dive in the top lane. He set up a massive team fight in the river, and he was able to control the mid lane fights later in the game. So if he can repeat the success, we'll most likely see Livic levels of team fights, victories coming out for Gambit.
So there's Darian against Zoro in the top, and already Darian having a bit of fun with him there, switching out to the hammer and laying down the law from that one.
And very interesting to note that Jason's actually started with the biscuit. So he's put a number of points into the utility spec, most likely going for some of the regen. I'll double check if he's got some lifesteal in there as well, so maybe going as deep as that. 6% lifesteal currently in there as well, so gonna get a little bit of that in there, so definitely working into his favor, which is quite nice, and it'll just give him a little bit of extra sustain to survive the seismic shards and ground slam poke that is coming out of Malphite.
So where are we expecting the action to come in here for one of the first times today, maybe even the first time today? Well, we will fail at have disconnected. We should be getting a pause in here in just a second from that one. There we go. For one of the first times today, we're actually seeing a normal, I say normal because this has actually become the unnormal somewhat, that top laners in the top lane, mid laners in the middle, and the duo lanes down bottom.
So we'll see how this match does pan out later on, but I think that the mid lane will probably be the most explosive. I think that the lower levels, Orianna will be able to bully Zed around, much like we've seen Orianna on Kha'Zix in the previous game. Just get those auto attacks down, use the range, use the command attack, command dissonance. Once they hit 6, there is insta-burst potential from both targets. They can kill each other very, very quickly with their base numbers. Top lane is all about poke. Whoever gets the poke to stick. And in bottom lane, it's CC. If you're caught by a bubble or caught by a root, you can die. So there's potential in all of the lanes, but mid lane's probably the most volatile.
Okay, so just to give you guys here in the audience and at home a little bit of information, apparently we do have a couple of network problems here that have resurfaced, and as you can see we have the IT guys and our Riot admins behind them there just to make sure that all the problems are going to be sorted out. Here we are going to have a quick on-pause just to see how the whole situation is going down, and hopefully it will be resolved here shortly.
Yeah, at the moment right now there's been a number of connectivity issues. It's a pretty big event with a lot of things that can go wrong.
There are a lot of PCs connected to the network.
Exactly, and a lot of events and streams and all sorts of action going on, so a few technical hitches are to be expected, and we've actually had a pretty flawless day. We're sitting very close to on time, and the games have been good, so we've definitely been enjoying it. Weevilfailer has reconnected, but he's instantly quit. So basically we just trial and error right now until we can get the situation a bit more stable for these two teams for the final game of the day.
Yeah, as I said, all under control for that one. But I guess we've got a little bit of time here to review what we've seen so far. I mean, it almost seems like we're harping on about this whole new teams versus old teams thing, but it is really the biggest storyline so far. And
it's a fantastic one because there's new teams in North America that have picked up wins, lots of new teams in Europe that have picked up wins, even more dramatically and drastically than stateside. And I think one of the things that the LCS teams may have taken for granted was knowing their opponents. And I was having a chat with Technolink regarding this matter, and we were talking how the newer teams have got this wealth of information to draw from. They've been able to build strategies and innovate how to defeat their opponents. And I don't believe the LCS teams have put in their due diligence for these new guys. I don't think they've scouted as hard as they've needed to or prepared as many compositions as they needed to.
The thing is, if these new guys have done it smart, they've just had 12 weeks of the spring split where all these LCS teams will have wanted to play against them to test out all the strategies that they were bringing into the later weeks and even into the summer split. And they didn't have to play what they wanted to play against the LCS teams. They could just soak up that information and say they tested that against us a few times and that against us and that against us. They're probably going to be doing something similar to that. Let's prepare for that one. And from Fnatic, from Gambit's side of things, it's definitely hard to research these teams that have come into the LCS.
And that is exactly what Alternate told us, exactly what Aranea was chatting about back then. We were talking about the Lissandra picks and how Fnatic had locked them in, and he was saying, we always banned it against them, they always banned it against us, because they'd scrimmed it. They had practiced those compositions against one another, and they'd gotten feels for how it plays, how it fits the meta, how they can take advantages. Fnatic played a strategy against Evil Geniuses where they locked in the Xerath and the Lissandra. Two champions that are very unorthodox in the current competitive scene, and while it was not successful, it shows a willingness to try new things in much the same way Gambit did APE and Fiddle. So it's interesting that even the old teams are trying new, but to lesser degrees of success.
So we will feel that has reconnected here. Obviously we are just a little bit behind, so hopefully that issue will get tested in here and maybe resolved in just a few seconds. So don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best right now. Of course, if we can get into this matchup, it will determine who is going to go 3-2 and who is going to go 2-3 right now, because a couple teams sitting down at the bottom of the table at 0 and 4. And I think the matchup that everybody's looking forward to is tomorrow. MYM versus Alternate is probably going to be the matchup of the day, just the matchup of the weekend, because both of these teams have gone undefeated. One of them is going to go home 4-1.
Well, that's the funny thing, that is going to be the game of the week, not the first one, Gambit versus Fnatic, but Meet Your Makers versus Alternate, which, I don't know, is the beauty here of the LCS, that we are seeing so many surprises coming out in this one. But we are back into the game here. Seems like the problems have been resolved, and we can get things back underway. Quick update on it, it's 3 minutes and 30 in, no first blood just yet, no towers going down. Still very early doors between these two teams, and as we said, pretty standard lane setups, if we can call it standard anymore, with the dual lanes facing off in the bottom, Orianna versus Zed in the middle, and then of course Malphite Jace in the top lane.
And pretty much as predicted, if you look at the HP bars on the sides of your screen, you'll notice that Zed was a little bit lower than that of Alex, since she's using the range of Orianna to poke him down. Nukeduck was forced to back away a little bit, rely on that rejuvenation bead to keep stocking up HP, and this is something that we've seen when 3.7 was introduced, and some of the statistics on the HP pots were changed around and whatnot. Buying a rejuvenation bead, keeping it for a prolonged period of time, and basically earning that money back by regenerating your HP. So instead of buying multiple pots, you just buy the Rejuve bead, sell it for a portion of its cost, and you lose 30 or 40 gold, but that would have been one potion, and you use it for the period of time that would have got you 5 or 6.
Exactly. Very cost effective. That's the big point of that one. Really interesting how Tabs performs here on Twitch. It's an AD carry that we've not seen him on just yet. The guys on the analyst test actually touched on that, and maybe we're going to have to see him bring something new to the table here. Twitch is definitely that champion.
And he's farming very well. Twitch has got a pretty strong laning phase, as long as you can keep getting your stacks of poison down and then getting that expunge going down. So you can see he's got a 6 CS advantage with a pretty decent wave in front of him. In addition to the damage, he's also got the Nami on hit that's always going to play into his favor. Right now, poking back and forth between Darian and Zoro, working towards, or almost out of those pots, but Darian has already backed. He's come back to lane with that Fairy Charm as well as those boots.
And the fact is that Jarvan is up on that top side of the jungle as well. We can see he is going to be met by Dexter, and the ball is going to go actually in onto him here. Diamond putting some damage back, but we will see Darian getting involved as well. Meanwhile, in his middle lane, Alexic and Nukeduck going head to head. The Ignite is going in there. Is he going to have the damage to finish things off here? Nukeduck actually turning back. Alexic flashing away from that one. He was very scared of the damage.
Yeah, but take a look at this. Jarvan is coming in. If he gets a knock-up, Nukeduck may be in trouble. One more hit, but the slow, the permafrost.
And he gets the flash away as well there, Alex. That was, Nukeduck, that was perfectly timed. And I'm surprised that it even got to that, because Sejuani was tracking Diamondprox the entire time south through that jungle.
Now, to begin with, that all began with Alexic running a little bit scared. He didn't look at the energy costs on Zed, and I think if he had stuck and got 2 or 3 more auto attacks down, he could have killed Nukeduck before he was forced to flash away. The energy regen on these ninjas is pretty high, but I do feel like he was very, very low. Nevertheless, both players escaped with their lives. Flash and Ignite burned on both of our mid laners, and both of the junglers holding onto their flashes for now.
Intense early action here, 6.5 minutes in still. No first blood coming out. If we look at the Alex versus Nukeduck lane now, the CS very much so in favor of Orianna. But the big one is in the top lane. Darian is bossing Zoro0 around at 42 to 27.
And that's all stemmed from that early level damage. You know, level 1, level 2, level 3, where Darian's going to be able to stay in that Mercury cannon form and just shoot Zoro0 in the face, keep his HP low, switch into the hammer form, knock him away with some percentage damages, and basically just kept Zoro0 on the back foot. But it's not the first time today that Zoro's been behind on Malphite in the top lane, so he's definitely had some experience with this, and he'll be knowing when and where he can pick up that CS safely.
Yeah, and let's not forget Zoro0's Malphite is one of the big reasons why Lemondogs are even in the summer split here. He played fantastically in the, arguably the biggest, yeah, I definitely wouldn't disagree with that one. Fantastic performances that he put in during the summer promotion tournament, and right now starting to be able to damage Darian back, which is going to be an important factor in things. He's got that Doran shield out there for the start, just to keep himself healthy more than anything.
And we actually see Darian putting a lot of auto attacks down on this lane. He really wants to keep it pushed. He's got that ward in the tri-bush, and he is, you know, he's playing a very aggressive lane. He's got that a little bit of sustained 6% lifesteal, so he will be getting some of that HP back as long as he keeps landing those auto attacks. Right now, though, Dexter 1 has snuck himself up into that top lane, and he actually is looking for a gank right now. Zoro0 is level 7, so Unstoppable Force may be able to be thrown in there, and we'll see if they want to jump in together. It looks like they're going.
And here we go, Unstoppable Force goes down. Dexter going to lock him up here. Darian in a lot of trouble. He's going to get the knockback on Sejuani, but that won't be enough. Zoro0 picks up first blood for the Lemondogs.
And that was such a great gank, and it was chaining the CC perfectly. The moment that Darian landed back on the ground from that Unstoppable Force, the Glacial Prison came down from Sejuani, locked her in place. As soon as that wore off, that's when he popped the permafrost. So it was very good, controlled ability usage from the Lemondogs, and they put their first kill on the board.
Fantastic little start, and that's when we were just talking about Zoro0 having trouble. Lemondogs showing that they know how to play this one. We're having trouble in the top lane. Let's try and equal that one out, giving that kill over to Malphite, who's going to come back into lane with boots of speed and a giant belt with wards, with potions as well. He's going to be safe up there. Jace comes back in with a Tia, plus a second Doran's Blade and the boots as well.
So that's definitely going to give Jace a fair amount of sustain. Double Doran's plus 6% HP. While it is still small numbers, it is going to be enough to keep him in lane for prolonged periods of time. So we'll be seeing him basically just try farm this out and maybe playing a little bit safer. Now that he's got the Tia, he wants to stack it up, he wants to farm effectively, get that Brutalizer, and then start getting more damage.
Zed almost got that Brutalizer in there, as you said, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Gambit now reacts to this one, because it definitely would have been the first time that Darian's had a bit of a lead in there and it's been equalized up, but they always seem to manage to pull through despite what Darian did, and that it almost was their play style, that Darian would be the one to push up. Almost looked like he's getting caught, but they use that to their advantage to push other objectives.
I still remember the number of Reddit threads during the spring split that talked about Darien feeding. Oh, Darien's feeding, that means Gambit's going to win.
Oh, Alex Hitch here in the middle, in a lot of trouble, puts down a good shockwave. Is he going to be able to escape? Possibly, as Diamond gets in there, picks up the kill, and now Dexter having to run for his life. That's great reactions, and that just shows you that these junglers know exactly what each other are doing. And Zero and Darien in that top lane are going to just hammer away at each other for a while, but as I said, just complete knowledge of the game and predicting what the other jungler is going to do in that scenario.
And that's basically what junglers have evolved into right now, is reacting to their opponents. In the bottom lane, there's the fight.
Tab's in all kinds of trouble. He's going to get knocked up here. Genji going to use a barrier. Tab's already used his barrier in this one. He gets the heal coming down from Weewolf. Can Darker finish things off here? He is the low man. Flashes in, grasping roots, pick up the kill.
That was a very good flash actually by Darker, because he didn't want to run the risk of missing the skill shot, so he closed the distance and made it that it was easier to land. Diamondprox is in the bottom and he's knocked up Weewolf.
And he's dead. Not much more to say about that one. A great bit of play once again coming in. And that's incredible stuff. Darker has got 2-0, showing that Edward is not the only one who can secure kills in a Gambit uniform.
And he went 3-0 with Zyra when they beat SK Gaming earlier today. So if Darker gets on a roll and is able to control the fights like he has just done right now, it's definitely going to play into their favor. And I'm so glad you said, in the style of Edward, maybe after his speech and his interview yesterday, he went back and said, well, if I kill steal more, maybe that's what the team needs.
That's what they need to get him going, to spur him on to get more kills of their own after that and not be outkilled by their support player in that one. Darien back into lane, and well, it's pretty even up there in terms of what damage they're doing to each other and what damage they're able to take now, but that CS lead of 30 still remains for Darien.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same as what 0-0 had to deal with against MYM. So what he ended up doing was, the turret was lost, he was sitting on the inner turret in that top lane, and then he eventually started moving and roaming around the map to try pick up kills elsewhere. We don't see as much tower pressure coming down from Darien. He basically just wants to farm. We do see though, Diamondprox with the Cataclysm available has snuck up into this top lane. Unstoppable Force as well as that flash is available for 0-0, but look at the damage he's gone in!
They're going in for that one. Dexter's going to come down as well. Has Darien got the help to get away from this one? Just about now, but Dexter got the speed to chase in and finish off the kill. In the meantime, we saw Diamond finishing off 0-0, but now Nukeduck's coming in. There is the slide away, but the ultimate coming down. This is a dead Diamond. Nukeduck gets the kill.
Diamond hesitated for half a second. It allowed Nukeduck to get in range to cast his death mark. That meant at the moment he started chasing down Diamondprox, as Diamond was flying through the air, the death mark flew along with him. He chased him down like only a shadow can and secures themselves another kill. Lemondogs, while they are a kill behind, they lost that dragon and they are falling a little bit further behind as far as gold is concerned.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Alex may just get the finisher on this turret here. He's got 3 caster minions with him. Next wave is not quite up to his turret just yet, but he may decide to tank it out there with that command protect. Nope, not quite. Got the damage coming off his auto attacks just at this second. For that one, in the bottom lane, things being frozen out somewhat, but Nukeduck in the top has managed to get a good chunk of damage, but again, no turret down.
So we do see a Vamp Scepter in that bottom lane in the hands of Genja, so that's definitely going to help him out, just keeping healed up, especially because Zyra obviously offers no health regen or sustain for his teammate. Weewolf on the other hand with Nami is going to have that ebb and flow to heal up his carry and just keep Tabs a little bit healthier. You see Tabs is also trying to work towards those Berserker's Greaves with that attack speed dagger. Basically, he wants to sidestep and avoid those grasping roots, because if he gets caught in a rat trap, he's going to die.
Yep, right now, Mana Moon is actually being finished off here by Jace, which, getting that in there for those early auto attacks, because quite frankly, he's using a lot of them anyway, so why not get it stacking up as early as he possibly can?
Take a look at this. 2 members of Lemondogs. They're sitting up in this top lane tower. The tower took a lot of damage from earlier on. Nukeduck does have that death mark available in a couple of seconds time. It will be up in 10 seconds. And you can see Darien's like, hang on a minute. Malphite went mid. He's afraid of me. Where is Zed? Because he's missing on the map.
Yeah, and a really wise choice there. Actually, Jade's coming around the side of what did just time out in that middle lane. We are going to see the turret finished off by Diamondprox. That will be turret number 2 of the game after that bottom one went down. Genji getting himself the red buff as well from his side of the map.
And I really like how Diamondprox approached that tower. He walked up and threw his Damascene Standard behind him. he hit the tower and then instantly got out. He was basically saying, well, even if anybody does come to chase me, I've got that, you know, that leap that I can get away. What we do see from Zero moving into that mid lane is a response basically saying, I can't deal with Jace and I don't want to lose like I did earlier to Cubon, so I want to play a bit safer. I want to go up against a matchup that maybe I've got a little bit of a better chance.
Almost got that Sunfire Cape done though now, and that's, you know, when he starts to become a little bit more difficult to bully around in that form. You see that Tav's trying to get himself back up to speed in terms of the farm as well. Darian hammering away with that W1, just getting a good couple of shots off onto the turret. Diamond is going to be waiting here again. Got 2 kills to his name up until now. Certainly wouldn't have a problem with taking Lemondogs down one more time. Who's actually going to have to probably back away from this tower. Too much damage from Darian and Diamond.
What I really like from Gambit though is that they went from this sort of passive laning phase to saying, okay, well, we can get that kill in the tower in the bottom lane, then Dragon, they're like, go for it. Push middle, send the champions and get as much damage as you can, push top. Jarvan went up there and got it as quickly as possible. Dragon will be respawning shortly, and with those towers down, expect Gambit to group up in and around the river, get the vision done. You can already see they've got 2 wards there, and basically challenge for the second dragon of the game.
Zed's actually keeping Darian up that top side of the map now for now though, pushing that minion wave straight through on towards the turret, and Gambit will want to keep Lemondogs at 0 turrets for as long as they can in this game. As you can see, the wards are down. Got full vision of that bottom side. Nice pink ward up by the
Lemondogs going in on the top lane.
We are going to see him going. Darian is in a lot of trouble, but Lemondogs underneath the tower won't matter though. That death mark just too much.
Basically, if Deathmark did not make Lemondogs untargetable, Darian would have been able to get enough damage down to actually pick up that kill there. He was unable to get any of his abilities in hammer form down, which basically meant that Lemondogs was able to tank up the tower and get away safely. So they'll be very happy with that pickup. That was a pretty free kill, and it's earned him that double attack speed daggers to complement his Bilgewater Cutlass. Genji has been slowed.
Ultimate coming down onto him there. Zero was off the side. He does have unstoppable force available for any encounter that happens down by that dragon area. Pink wards all over the place here as well for Lemondogs. Let's see what they can do with it. Alex just walking over a ward. Diamond will suffer the same fate, so they know that Gambit are hanging around.
So this is something that I just noticed from that ability usage there from Dexter. Not afraid to throw out the Sejuani ultimate, the Glacial Prison. It is level 2 right now at level 11, so that means it's a 75-second cooldown. And we've seen the same thing from Hercubot as well when he was playing Sejuani. Not afraid to just lob it out, just throw it. And it's interesting to see how pro players value the different cooldowns and different abilities. It is not going to be available for this dragon fight, and Zed does not have a teleport to even contest. So Lemondogs have basically given this up. They had a little bit of vision, so they knew what was going on. They had a pink ward, and they basically gave it up for free.
Yeah, freebie there for Gambit. Lemondogs trying to capitalize on that somewhat by putting damage onto the middle tower. They will take that top tower as well by a Lemondogs, who finally, after so much persistence, will be able to push through from that. But look at Gambit there sauntering off up this middle lane. Twitches off to the right-hand side of the jungle. They may be able to get some good damage onto it.
Genji's missing though. This is the exact same thing that happened when they were playing against Evil Geniuses. Gambit were grouped up as 4, and Genji was solo pushing a lane, not there in time when the fights broke out. So he's going to need to sync up a little bit more with the rest of his teammates and be there when those fights erupt, because his ultimate and his damage is going to be crucial to controlling these fights.
He's got a 20 CS lead right now over Twitch. Got that Bloodthirster finished off as well, which is going to be stacking up the entire time. He'll be quite happy with that game. That's a very typical Genja thing to do, you know, to be completely on the other side of the map to his
Last
team.
Whisper, GA.
Let's get it finished.
Don't reinvent the wheel. It works. It's what works for Genja, and he likes to play that way. What I do want to note in terms of items, Alex Sitch has not finished his Sorcerer Shoes yet, but he's got a completed Rod of Ages as well as a completed Archangel Staff at 19 minutes, and he is stacking them up incredibly well.
Yeah, it's nearly full actually. 634 out of 750 mana right now, so not going to be too long before that Service Embrace is all finished for Alex Sitch. Let's see how this one goes. He's going to get himself that blue buff as well. Always a bonus with Orianna.
Basically, 3 towers, 2 dragons, plus 200 CS at 19 minutes equals OP Orianna.
We'll see how he lands the shockwaves though, because we always talk about this, that a good shockwave can win you a game. A bad shockwave can lose you a game. So we'll have to see about that. We've certainly seen some fantastic shockwaves coming out today. on the various people that have played that Orianna, seeming to really come into favor again.
I was just about to say that I think Orianna is probably one of the standout champions for me of the weekend so far. And, you know, Orianna's always been at the upper echelons of the competitive play, at least here in Europe. Not so much in some of the Asian scenes if I think, you know, about the course of the last splits and the events that have been going on. But nevertheless, a very, very popular pick and has seen a lot of picks and bans, especially during spring. Right now, Gambit, 5,000 gold lead. They picked that dragon up about 2 or 3 minutes ago, so it will be respawning around the 23-minute mark. And basically, with all 3 outer towers down, it's farm fest until they group and push a lane together.
Yep, Darker now actually got himself a pink ward in there with the Ruby Sightstone as well. So he's going to slowly but surely start getting those wards down in the jungle from the Lemondogs and start to really strangle that jungle away from them. Take as many creeps as he can, try and catch a couple of men out, and then they can start pushing here. We can see that middle turret already taking a lot of damage as Darian here is going to be in a little danger, I think, there from Nuke, who's just saying, well, I'm going to take these minion waves as they come to me and try and completely throw all your CS off.
So he's basically got the Blade of the Ruin King to sustain and survive any of the damage that's coming down into him, and because we've seen a giant spell picked up for Darian, he's able to survive the burst that Zed has at this moment in time. It also signals that they basically want Darian to deal with Zed when Zed is split pushing. He is one of the strongest split pushing champions thanks to his wave clear and his excellent escape ability. And of course, if you send one person to deal with him, he's just going to assassinate you. Right now, Gambit, with the map control, steal away the blue buff.
Steal away the blue buff, you know, not the biggest of deals in the world when Zed doesn't obviously have that. It'd be nice on Zed 1, it'd be nice on Malphite as well. But the big thing is there that, you know, Alex, if he times it right, can have pretty much a constant blue buff throughout his times here on that Orianna. So that's the real danger. Has picked up now that Seeker's Arm Guard, and his Zereth's Embrace is now fully stacked up.
And I think the Gambit have probably got the strongest dragon control presence out of any team here in Europe. They've got the ability to be there when it spawns, to put the wards down you know, minutes before, and really just ensure that the rhythm of the map flows in that direction. And exactly like you said, because they've got the timer and the control of the bottom half of the map, they'll extend that over to the blue buff and just keep denying that resource from their opponents. The gold is getting a little bit less as Nuke is able to pick up the second tower of the game, but we haven't seen any big fights. It's just been small skirmishes, and until we see a big engagement, whether or not Lemondogs can control their fight and land their ultimates will determine who will win.
Yeah, much slower paced game this one, that's for sure. And that's because of their situation right now. They will both teams want to end the night here with a good, solid victory. Considering the standings for both teams, they can definitely consider that one. Although, you'd have to say, I think this is Gambit's, you know, they probably going to feel they need this victory here if they're going to be challenging at the top of the table come the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I do want to correct myself on, Genja has gone and proven me a liar because he didn't go for a Last Whisper second. He skipped item number 2, went straight to item number 3. He's picked up a GA as his second item, and that's purely because he is terrified of the dive potential of his opponents. Right now, Alexic is actually chasing down Nuke, and Nuke is going well with the Seekers, with the Seraph Shield, and all of that HP. I mean, that's 2,300 hit points on Orianna. He's actually not able to chunk through that until he finishes up this Last Whisper, and maybe a little bit more AD. Look for the Chain of Corruption. Can Genja hit it? This is the hardest AD carry ultimate to land, and no, he does not. Nobody's surprised.
Not when there's a flash available there. As we see Nuke put the death mark down, it's going to get slowed here. Can they finish him off? Great ultimate coming out of Dexter. That will stop 2 of them chasing through. And that's the thing. Using ultimates is all well and good, but if they're defensive, you've not got them when it comes to a fight where you need to use it offensively.
And very importantly, in terms of ultimates that were used in the bottom lane, Cataclysm as well as that Chain of Corruption. Yep. So it is a big ultimate from Jarvan if a team fight breaks out. But they have the pressure and the ability to dive. Dexter has jumped back in, taken a lot of damage, and he's in trouble.
Yep, Nami going to throw the tidal wave down there as well. And Zoro Zero trying to stay at the front here and do the damage. Does have that unstoppable force if they do decide to go in. But it's worth noting, Shockwave is still up from Alex Ich, and that's going to cause devastation if they allow it to land.
And with the composition that they've got, the Jace as well as the Varus, and of course Jarvan and Orianna, who are no slouches when it comes to auto-attacking, they can kill towers very, very quickly. They've all got a lot of damage. You've got attack speed steroid on Jace, attack speed steroid for the team in the hands of Jarvan, as well as those plants that are even going to deal some damage if you spawn them in front of the turret. So very good control. That's the third dragon of the game that's gone to Gambit, and they've once again extended that gold lead thanks to the tower and that dragon.
But still, not the high action mass fighting that we've really become used to, I think we can say today and yesterday as well, throughout this first weekend of the summer split. This kind of goes back to the spring split first sets of games for each team, where we saw both feeling each other out, not wanting to make any mistakes, not wanting to be too aggressive, not wanting to give anything away. And that's exactly what both teams are going for right now. And you have to wonder, as the game goes on, who's going to become the strongest, where these opportunities are really going to arrive from.
At the moment, it's going to arrive from the actual engages, because both teams have got very, very good, dive compositions. You can have Jarvan, Orianna, and Jace. He's got a Giant's Belt as well as that long sword, so I'm not quite sure what he's going to upgrade it into. There we go. So it's going to be a Brutalizer. And he's going to have a fair amount of HP to dive in. The thing that's very important to note about the compositions is that the poke is more powerful from the side of Gambit. It's got greater range and greater impact. Those shock blasts and those piercing arrows will hurt a lot against the squishy Zed, Twitch, and Numb.
Yep, and you've got the ball that's going to be in there, and you never quite know when he's going to press R and drag you all in. So that's something they've got to really keep themselves on their toes right now. Gambit starting to gather around that inner turret in the middle lane. There's nothing that Lemondogs can do about that one. They were forced out of position, and that is turret number 5 taken down for Gambit.
They're happily going to base race without Zed there, even if Lemondogs get a great engage. It's going to be 5 versus 4. They have gone in. There's the Glacial Prison. Wait for the unstoppable force from Zoro.
Yeah, he's waiting for it here, but he's already down to half HP, as we are going to see Stranglethorns go in. Inhibitor turret has gone down. Zed is actually coming back, but they're going on towards Tab. He's destroyed from that one. Tidal Wave comes across the side as well, but the Inhibitor is going to fall. The bubble not quite landing out of We Will Fail Her, and that is Inhibitor number 1 for Gambit.
In this particular situation, Lemondogs overestimated the power of their ultimates and the threat that it posed, because Zed was split pushing. He was trying to get that bottom inner turret. Gambit pretty much said, look, we don't care who you are, we don't care what champions you are. The objective is to kill towers in the Nexus, and they played the map. They ran in there with the numbers advantage. They actually started the fight first, which caught Lemondogs off guard. Jace dove in there, and Malphite's like, whoa, 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 hang on a second. This isn't meant to be happening. Why are you diving me on my inhibitor turrets?
Well, that's the thing, Zed wasn't there. They just destroyed Tabs, and Alex was quite happy to use a shockwave to lock Tabs up, because once he's gone, where's your damage from? Is it from Zoro Zero? Is it from Dexter on Sejuani? Is it from Nami? No, it's not at all.
Basically, that R button became the backspace and just deleted the rat. He simply popped. The Cataclysm was dropped in it, and then once he was gone, the fact that Zed wasn't there, there was nothing to follow it up. Absolutely nothing. I don't think Zoro Zero even used his unstoppable force there. So, the Sejuani ultimate was put down. It only caught 2. That made Zoro Zero hesitate again, going, well, if I unstoppable, it's not even hitting Genja because he's not the one that was, that ate the Sejuani ultimate. So, basically, they didn't sync up their ultimates, and the Wombo combo is once again falling behind. This is the trend of the day as far as the summer split is concerned.
Yeah, Malphite definitely doesn't have the best statistics so far in the summer LCS. Right now, Gambit are trying to set traps here by the looks of things. They finally got that Oracle on to Darker so they can start clearing out, and that automatically sets a bit of a problem for Lemondogs. It means that they either have to go and check out if Baron's been done and risk walking into any kind of trap, because there's no Oracle on We Will Fail Her. He's got no pink wards. What they've got there is all going to be cleared out.
So at the moment, you can see Gambit, they're just using that to their advantage. They're setting the traps. They basically want to create a death bush. Having Zyra on their team makes it even more effective because of how powerful the Stranglethorns are, especially if they want to pick the fights in these enclosed jungle spaces. Now, if they do stack up, great initiation from Lemondogs. We Will Fail has been caught up and knocked up.
Yeah, they're going straight in onto We Will Fail. Will put down his ultimate there, but the Cataclysm is not only locking them in, it's keeping them in position as the Stranglethorns go down. Dexter's going to charge over the wall and actually get away from this one. There is Darker actually going down. Tab's doing good damage. There's the shockwave from Alex Hitch. He's going to finish off Twitch, and now Zoro Zero trying his best to run away from this this one, but this is going to be another kill for Gambit if they actually go in. It's a flash and the Demacian standard from Diamond to finish that one off. And that, in the end, was a 3-for-1. Gambit did get fairly low from it, though. I'll give them that.
They did, but it is in combination with those tight spaces and the powerful ultimates coming out of the Lemondogs. They were able to put a lot of damage down, and Twitch basically got a full spray and pray off before Alex ran up to him and said, "You shall not pass, you shall not go, you shall not collect 300 gold for killing my champions." Took him out of the game, and immediately then they just cleaned up. They were able to destroy the Lemondogs roster. It was very good control from Gambit. They focused the right targets, and Alexic was incredibly patient with that shockwave. I kept looking at the cooldown going, is he going to use it? Is he going to use it? Is he going to use it? And eventually he literally only used it on Twitch. And he's saving it to kill the rest.
Yeah, exactly. And you just saw there that bottom inhibitor turret as well has been pushed so hard by the minions that it's actually only got a slither of health left on it. Actually only 170 health. That is not much work for a Varus, let's put it that way. And that leaves them in a bit of a precarious position now because they're going to have siege minions coming up the middle. They can't afford to ignore them. Then, sorry, super minions. Even a siege minion army would be scary in itself, I suppose. But then they've got inhibitor turret open in the top and the bottom. Gambit can decide which one they want to go for. Right now, they've started off the Baron. There's a ward at the back, which tells me it'll be cleared out. Gambit will say, no, let's stop that right now.
They realize they may be able to catch somebody, and they've got that acceleration gate, which is a very powerful combination, especially when you combo it with the dissonance. That's a lot of movement speed. Darien may go Manecue cannon form, and a very, very good tidal wave will knock them away. Wait for the fight here. Zoro Zero is thinking about it, but that's a massive gold difference, 10,000 gold. And wisely, they back away.
Yeah, nicely done. But they can keep setting those traps, Gambit, here. They can do that over and over and over again until they finally do get someone from Lemondogs that's just a little bit too far pushed up from that. Right now, they say, okay, let's have a dragon, bit more gold to add to more of those future items. Genja does now have that last whisper, so you were correct. In a way, he switched them around because he wanted that
let's be honest, that's the easiest prediction in the entire LCS is what Genji's going to build. He did mix it up and go for a triple Dorans in their first couple of losses, but immediately dropped that as it wasn't panning out for him. Right now, though, with that vision control, they're going to start off this Baron again. And, you know, if they decide to peel and chase, you cannot underestimate the power of that acceleration gate plus the command dissonance. Diamond, he's baited out, we will fail, he's caught him.
He's gone straight in there, he's going to put the Cataclysm down, and that will force the flash out of We Will Fail It. And we should mention that aside from that Cataclysm that's now down, the tidal wave from Nami over for Lemondogs is also not there. And if they're to win a fight, especially in the jungle, that tidal wave would probably be one of the biggest instruments in doing so.
Basically, the tidal wave will prevent a chase. Right now, Zoro Zero is moving very, very close. The Baron is low, and they're late. If he does not get out of there very quickly, another chain of corruption misses. Nobody's surprised by that one. Alexic, can he get a command shockwave? That's the question. There is no Cataclysm from Diamond Prox, and the split is pretty good from Lemondogs.
Oh, there we go. Alex actually going in here towards We Will Fail It, and there is the shockwave. Bit overkill, but it does the job in the end. Here we see the fight now in the middle. Nukeduk is going to be going in on towards Genja. He's managed to get that GA pop, but will he be able to keep him down after that? Doesn't look that way. They'll allow Nukeduk to try to run back here. They've already got two down, lost to themselves. Tapt is going to die as well to Diamond's flag once again.
Basically, he's throwing the flag out saying, this is my house. Landing it, stomping it down. That's the second kill of the game. Those death timers are very, very high. 30 seconds on Zoro Zero's Malphite, 38 seconds on that Twitch of tabs. They managed to retake that mid inhibitor. They get the bottom turret, and now they're stacking on this bottom lane inhibitor as well.
Well, Dexter and Nukeduk, the two there to try and keep them away. Let's see if they can do so. They've got the ability to go in and out here without losing too much, and the tidal wave is going to come on flying through. Are they going to push further for this one? No, they're not. Actually, Bubble will knock both Alex and Genja into the air from this, but Diamond is pretty much holding them back there. They're a little scared of that knockup and what could follow through. Here comes the chase. There, Diamond goes back in. Actually, they're going to put the Cataclysm down. There is the kill as well. Amazing stuff coming out from Gambit. They pull out, they go back in, doing it expertly.
Diamond Prox not satisfied with the Cataclysm not getting a kill. Alex has been caught. There's the Deathmark. Shockwave is down.
Yeah, Shockwave doing a lot of damage. He's got his Zhonya's up here as well to try and prevent that final bit of damage, and he is still alive. Gets himself the shield on as well. Zoro Zero going to be locked down by the chain of corruption, and Alex survived.
Unreal.
How did he survive that one? So much damage coming his way. Brilliant help from his teammates, and that is just more and more kills pulled up here for Gambit.
Alexic's shield is absolutely massive. It blocks over 500 points of damage. He was dropped to 100 HP. He popped the ball on himself and just stood there saying, bring it, Zoro, you got nothing. That little poker of yours is not going to take me down. And he manages to get out of there with his life. Great play.
Let's not forget his Zerif's Embrace in there as well, which is definitely going to help things out. Not to mention the good old Zhonya's that we saw him use as things kicked off. Right now it's a 13,000 gold lead for Gambit, and they are slowly but surely working their way in for inhibitor number 3. That poke from Darren, especially with the blue buff on, is going to become a little bit of a pain. There goes the ultimate out. Dexter not going to be able to lock them off, and a great grasping roots from Darker will stop him in his tracks.
Spray and pray has been used by Twitch. They're going to wait for those last couple of attacks to go down. Twitch was not anticipating the Strangle Thorn, so Tabs unable to make an impact. There's the Unstoppable Force!
Unstoppable Force coming in. Deathmark is down. Genja going to get popped here. Doesn't, of course, have his Guardian Angel. Darker in trouble. Alex will be the next focus. He shockwaves 4 of them, but he will, sometime in the near future, die in the end, or will he?
No!
He survives again. Ridiculous. Zerif's Embrace, Sonya's up in perfect timing for that fight.
Alexic, I apologize for doubting your Orianna. He's going to go down to the turret. No, turret was killed. Last shot almost got me excited there. Zoro did absolutely 0 in those engagements and was unable to make an impact. The Force was not unstoppable, and Gambit pick up the win.
Solid victory there, and one that they needed to go 3-2 in the European LCS. 5 games down, and